Thom Yorke from Radiohead, welcome back to Australia.
Hello, all right.
Nice to see you again. I want to talk about the future. I know you guys went back in after Christmas and started working on new material. What are you planning on doing for the rest of this year?
We wouldn't really go in and start working on new material. We're just we're doing the pre-material bit, which is just noises and bits of gear and endlessly tootling around with nothing to show for it.
Good noises though so far.
Yeah. Every sort of fifth day, you might get something.
Yeah, it surprised me a bit when I was reading about that over the sort of the Christmas holidays. It seems like you guys don't let up. There's a lot of stuff still coming out of your brains, music-wise.
Yeah, but then if you think about it, there's you finish the record and then you're out on tour and you don't really get much chance, and so there's lots of things building up that you really want to get into. But yes, you're right. That was commented on by our respective partners.
When you do that, do each of the members do things very separately?
This time we're trying it out, yeah. And sort of, I think a lot of it is. I really don't know. The only conversations we haven't even really discussed it. People are just sort of moving at their own pace and doing their own thing and deliberately not sharing things for a while, except for me and Johnny, who kind of have to some degree.
Why? Because you kind of like just collaborating together a bit more?
It's just because we need to, just because we actually need to sit down and bounce, because it's the normal bit. It's the normal, sit together with two guitars and a cup of coffee. But there's lots of sort of immersing ourselves in bits of gear, basically. Working without, deliberately without any end in sight.
Okay, so would you look at maybe going back into the studio sometime this year to try to put another record together?
I really don't. I don't know how it's going to work enough to say yes or no, to be honest. Because I don't really... It depends on... if everybody's happy to start up again, because we've never really stopped before. I mean, we're not even doing it now, but some people sort of they really they want to switch off for a while. I mean, I want to switch off for a while, and I think it's because we've finished our contract with EMI and stuff as well. I mean, that's at the end of it. We've fulfilled our obligations. So it's kind of a really good time to sort of switch off and not concern ourselves with having a plan or anything. And it's a good time to step out of the music business generally anyway, I think. It's a good time to sort of just watch what's happening and not get involved for a while, I think.
Would you like to redirect, if the contract is up with EMI, would you like to change the format in which a band operates in this day and age?
I think it should be changed, yes.
And do you think you're in a position now to try to achieve that?
I've really no idea. I mean, when a record company decides to cull so much of its workforce and so on, like they're just doing, and then the shareholders get all happy about it and decide that's a really good idea, and now they're going to suddenly make more money. I'm not so sure. I wasn't very impressed by that. I don't think it's necessarily the way forward for music, is it really? Or those big corporate entities, they're kind of useful for some things and very not useful for others. So we're very much keeping an open mind about how we get music out at all. Obviously it would be nice if it wasn't just stolen.
The other question I was really keen to ask you was what's left for Radiohead to prove? Because it seems like with each album you've had to prove something. Like after OK Computer, before OK Computer, you wanted to sort of, make a really important statement and a really important album, and then after OK Computer, you wanted to sort of move on and do something different. And it seems like with each album, there's been something there, but now with what you've achieved, I'm not sure whether there's anything left. I mean, you've proven your worth as a band in a very well-rounded way, don't you think?
As a band is the operative term, yeah. We actually enjoy working with each other, and I think that all the best things that ever happened, from my point of view, much of it annoys me, involve the others. So it's kind of, I think that, and Johnny found that when he was doing Body Song as well. It was nice to collaborate with people, but the thing that he enjoyed the most was just learning some new shit to do with us, if you know what I mean. Some of it's still interesting, and some of it's very, very dull. Things about being in Radiohead, and I think we need to jettison the dull bits.
But you got that freedom now because of the work you've done.
The thing, as you say, the thing about not having to prove yourself, which actually, I think for lots of people will be like, kiss of death. I actually think would be a very good thing for us, because I mean, I know personally, I can't go through that whole sort of pressure to make an album in a certain way. And the workings of the music business as the way we did it on Hail to the Thief, where we tried to sort of engage and be what we considered normal and, cooperative, we considered to be cooperative. It was just like, no, fuck this doesn't feel right. It doesn't feel right to be engaging with the whole music business in this way anymore. It was interesting to try it out once more, like for me it was like exercising all the ghosts of meeting people is easy, trying to, and discovering that they're not all exercisable, and that really it doesn't sit. Lots of all that sort of media thing just doesn't sit with me very well anymore, and I'm not interested, and so it kind of means that the Radiohead as well, and what we end up doing. It'll feed back into that, I think, really. It probably doesn't mean anything at all, any of what I just said.
No, it does. I was actually going to ask you whether meeting people was easier these days, because the last time we had a conversation, I actually ended up in the bloody documentary.
Yeah, damn it.
You slyly said, "Oh, don't worry about this guy, he's just shooting some home movies in the background." Next thing I know, I was on cinema screens. It was a nice surprise, really. But, I mean, that press side of it is one thing, but the adoration from your fans, I mean, there's a lot of very keen Radiohead fans who obviously analyse a lot of what you do, but still to mean that much to people out there, that it must be an enormous thrill to have your music to be a big part of so many people's lives.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's kind of that. In a way, that's what I'm trying to say, is that we don't. It's no longer necessary. We're very lucky, and it's no longer necessary for us to have to do the whole sort of TV press thing so in such a big way, because there is this sort of a little bit of a community thing about it. I mean, in America, it's like the bloody Grateful Dead. It's really odd, but and people are really and people are the people that come up to me now when I'm at home in Oxford and stuff. Generally speaking, I don't get weirded out. I never get I mean, sometimes, but not often. People are very they're really nice, and it's a much more positive feeling, not one of terror. And then when we go and we tour, it's a really nice, it's a great feeling. But I mean, it's a great feeling to do a good show, and it's everybody's gets something from it. Everybody comes out with a positive thing. But the other side of it is you can't be like that all the time. You can't be involved in that all the time. In order for everything to stay interesting or relevant in any way, you can't end up being in Radiohead all the time. Do you know what I mean? I mean, for me, it's sort of. I mean,
well, you were saying this.
We all go home, and we're not these people anymore, and it's like, thank fuck for that, I'm probably always. Well, I've said this before, haven't I? I'm sure. But
well, I was going to say, last time we spoke in '98, you said very much the same thing then.
Yeah.
Because OK Computer was just engulfing your lives. I mean, it had been out for about a year, and I think I even said to you, you're just everywhere. It must be hard to kind of have that confrontation of your own sort of image back in your face so much.
Yeah, and also it just didn't relate to anything. It didn't relate. It was a good record, hopefully, but all the rest of the stuff was like, well, this is just a big monster in overdrive. This is nothing to do with. This is, well, that's interesting, interesting to see it happen to other people. It's interesting to see the Strokes in the midst of that, and and you kind of feel sorry for them, but it's difficult to know what to say. But I remember, Stipe was good for me, but much better than I would be for those people, I think, because I just end up saying, like, get the fuck out.
Or I know exactly what you mean.
It's it is a little bit like a realm of hell, of Dante's Inferno or something, because if you are consumed by your own myth, then it is a sort of form of hell in a way, because it's not. You're stuck there and you can't leave, and you don't want to leave because you can't see anything else. But then gradually you realise that everything around you is just the same. It's just the realm of, all the people that you used to know have gone, and you're only talking to the people that are in the same realm as you. Like what would have happened to Elvis. Elvis was surrounded by people who would get on the plane with him and go, yeah, man, let's go and get a burger. And so, you're there. You're in Dante's Inferno going, okay, let's do that, shall we? Because no one's telling you any different. You're like, yeah, okay, this must be fun then, yeah? Right. So this red hot poker up my arse is a good idea.
Yeah, right. The controller's completely gone. Okay, wind up time. Last question.
I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. Last question. You're doing Coachella. Excited by the Pixies?
I'm terrified. I didn't want to do it. I'm not going on after them. You must be fucking joking.
Oh, so you're playing directly after them?
Yeah.
Oh.
That sucks.
You won't even get a chance to enjoy them. You'll be backstage.
I'll be puking my guts out.
Oh, well, look, I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure you'll do service to the crowd there. Listen, terrific to meet you. Great to have you back in the country. Looking forward to the performances.
Thanks, man.